After 7 years together, I caught my fiancé cheating with my childhood best friend right before our wedding. I called it off and then moved out. Now her parents are begging me to reconsider because she was going through a hard time, and the venue is non-refundable. Throwaway account because my fiancé knows my main and I'm not ready for her to see this yet. I, 29M, was supposed to be getting married to my fiancé, 28F, in 3 weeks. We've been together for 7 years, engaged for 1. I thought we were happy. I thought she was the one. I was so wrong. Last weekend, I came home early from a work trip. My flight got cancelled, and I managed to get on an earlier one. I was actually excited to surprise her, since we'd been apart for almost a week. When I got home, I noticed a car in our driveway that I recognized. It belonged to my best friend since childhood, Jake, 29M. I didn't think anything of it at first. Jake and Sarah, my fiancé, had become friends over the years, and I assumed he was just visiting. I quietly let myself in through the garage door, thinking I'd surprise both of them. The house was quiet except for some noises coming from upstairs. As I got closer to our bedroom, I realized exactly what those noises were. I stood outside the door for what felt like an eternity, hoping I was wrong. When I finally pushed the door open, there they were, my fiancé and my best friend of 20+ years in our bed. The moment is burned into my brain. Sarah looked shocked, then immediately started crying. Jake just looked at me with a guilty expression before scrambling to find his clothes. I didn't say a word. I just turned around, went downstairs, and sat on the couch completely numb. They both came down a few minutes later, fully dressed, with Sarah sobbing and Jake attempting to explain. He said it was a mistake, that it had just happened, and that they both had too much to drink. Sarah kept trying to touch me, telling me she loved me and that it meant nothing. I finally found my voice and asked how long it had been going on. They both swore it was just this once, but I could tell they were lying. After some more pushing, Jake finally admitted they'd been sleeping together for 6 months. 6 months. During the time we were planning our wedding. During the time we were talking about starting a family. My fiancé was sleeping with my best friend. And the real kicker? Jake was supposed to be my best man. I told them both to get out. Jake left immediately, but Sarah refused, saying we needed to talk about this. I packed a bag and left instead, checking into a hotel. I've been here for 4 days now, ignoring most of her calls and texts, only responding to say I need space. Yesterday, Sarah's parents called me. They know what happened, though I suspect they got a sanitized version, and they're begging me to reconsider ending things. They said Sarah is going through a hard time and made a terrible mistake, but that she loves me and our life together. They also mentioned that they've already paid non-refundable deposits for the venue, catering, etc., totaling around $30,000. They not so subtly implied that I should consider this financial aspect before making any rash decisions. I can't believe this is happening. I'm completely broken. I lost my fiancé and my best friend in one moment, and now I'm being made to feel guilty about the money her parents spent on a wedding that I don't even want anymore. I've cancelled my half of the wedding arrangements and told my family what happened. I'm planning to tell Sarah it's over for good when I see her to collect the rest of my things, but I'm dreading that conversation. Am I overreacting? Should I consider giving her another chance? I love this woman with all my heart, but I don't see how I can ever trust her again, especially when she betrayed me with the person I trusted most, right before our wedding. I called it off and then moved out. Now her parents are begging me to reconsider because she was going through a hard time, and the venue is non-refundable. First of all, thank you to everyone who commented on my original post. Your support and perspectives helped me more than you know during what has been the worst week of my life. I went back to our house last weekend to collect my things. I made sure Sarah knew when I was coming, and I brought my brother with me for support and to help load my stuff. When we arrived, I was surprised to find not just Sarah but also her parents waiting for me. They ambushed me with what I can only describe as an intervention. Sarah was crying again. Her mom kept trying to hug me, and her dad pulled me aside to talk man to man. He actually had the nerve to tell me that all men make mistakes and that I shouldn't throw away 7 years over one indiscretion. When I pointed out that 6 months of cheating is hardly a one-time mistake, he brushed it off, saying that's just a technicality, and what matters is that Sarah is sorry and wants to make it right. I stayed calm and told them I appreciated their concern, but my decision was final. That's when Sarah's mom dropped the bombshell that they'd already sent out change the date cards to everyone, moving the wedding back by 3 months to give us time to heal. I hadn't agreed to this, and I was completely blindsided. I lost my composure at that point. I told them plainly that there would be no wedding and they needed to stop pretending otherwise. Sarah started sobbing harder, saying she would do anything to fix things, including couples therapy, giving me complete access to her phone, and even moving in with her parents for a while if I needed space. I declined all of these offers and continued packing my things. The tension was thick, but I managed to get everything important in one trip. As I was leaving, Sarah handed me a letter and begged me to read it. I took it but didn't promise anything. Later that night, curiosity got the better of me and I opened it. It was 12 pages long, detailing how sorry she was, how Jake had manipulated her during a vulnerable time, and how she'd realized I was truly the only one she wanted. She even included a list of therapists she'd already contacted and some links to articles about how relationships can survive infidelity. The letter made me angry all over again, especially the part where she tried to shift blame to Jake. Yes, he betrayed me too, and I'm furious with him, but she's equally responsible. They both made conscious choices for 6 months to betray my trust. I didn't respond to the letter, but I did finally reach out to Jake. He's been blowing up my phone since that day, leaving voicemails apologizing and begging for a chance to explain. I told him simply that our friendship is over and he should respect my wishes by not contacting me again. Then yesterday, I received an email from Sarah's father with a spreadsheet attached. It was a detailed list of all wedding expenses, color-coded to show which ones were refundable and which weren't. He wrote that while they respect my decision, doubtful, they hoped I would consider helping with the non-refundable costs since the cancellation was my choice. The total he highlighted for me to pay was nearly $15,000. I haven't responded. I have no intention of paying for a wedding that's not happening because my fiancé cheated. I've spoken to a lawyer friend who assured me I'm not legally obligated to cover these costs. On a slightly positive note, I found an apartment and will be moving in next week. I'm also starting therapy to help process all of this. My family and true friends have been incredibly supportive, and I'm taking it one day at a time. Oh, and in case anyone is wondering, I returned the engagement ring to my grandmother. It was her ring that she gave me to propose with. Sarah has been demanding it back, saying it was gifted to her, but legally and morally, it belongs in my family. Final update, 1 month later. A lot has happened since my last update, and most of it isn't good. I was hoping things would calm down after a few weeks, but instead they've escalated in ways I never expected. First, the living situation. I moved into my new apartment and have been slowly settling in. It's nothing fancy, but it's mine and there are no painful memories here. I've been throwing myself into work and reconnecting with friends I lost touch with over the years. I now realize Sarah had slowly isolated me from some of my close friends. Now for the difficult part. About 2 weeks after my last update, I received a message from a woman named Megan. She said she needed to talk to me about Sarah and Jake. What she told me turned my world upside down all over again. Megan was Jake's girlfriend for about 2 years, ending just 3 months ago. According to her, she broke up with him because she discovered he was cheating on her, with Sarah. But here's the bombshell, their affair hadn't been going on for just 6 months. Megan had evidence they'd been involved on and off for nearly our entire relationship. She showed me text messages dating back years where Jake and Sarah would arrange meetups. There were even messages from times when Sarah and I were going through rough patches, where she would complain about me to him, and he would comfort her in ways that went far beyond friendship. The most devastating evidence was a message from 5 years ago, where Sarah told Jake she was considering breaking up with me to be with him, but she wasn't sure he could provide the stability I offered. Apparently, my role in her life was to be the reliable provider, while Jake was her true passion. I confronted Sarah with this information. After initially denying it, she finally confessed. She admitted that she and Jake had been involved since shortly after she and I started dating. They would take breaks from their affair occasionally, especially when one of them was seriously dating someone else, but they always came back to each other. When I asked her why she agreed to marry me if she was in love with Jake, she said she loved us both, but in different ways. She loved the life and future I could provide, while Jake was more of a physical and emotional connection. She actually tried to convince me that this arrangement could have continued if I hadn't discovered them, and that it wouldn't have affected our marriage because she had it under control. I was completely disgusted. 7 years of my life were a lie. I've been played for a fool by the two people I trusted most. I told her I never wanted to speak to her again.